Welcome to another episode of Video Store Rejects. This is a podcast where we discuss directors' filmographies and our favorite film franchises. I'm your host, Cody House, and I finally have my co-host, Chris Jacobs, back for these director series. I can't even remember the last one you were on. I've been flying solo
it's been a
with
while.
the guests.
Yeah, I've been missing them, dude. I've been took a job as a mailman, and it has eaten up a lot of time, especially my weekends. But yeah, I'm glad to be back, man, because I absolutely I I love this movie. Two of my favorite directors, or I guess duo team brothers. So yeah, I'm excited to, and I'm also a fan of this music. So
yeah. So the film we're talking today is Inside Llewyn Davis. Those of you watching might be like, well, that's not the last film or most recent film they've done. We've kind of been going out of order, partly because I had to reschedule back in August when I got sick with COVID and guest availability, and our guests kind of dropped out at the last minute on this video because apparently it's only available to purchase online instead of rent. So,
oh no,
here we are, and yeah,
I'm excited because, like I said earlier, any film that has to do with music, especially music that I particularly like, that type of genre movie, I'm really interested in. So, and if you guys have not seen this is set, was it 61?
yeah,
It's 1961.
It's 1961, I believe. It is the very early stages. Yeah, 1961. It's New York City, the Greenwich Village folk music scene. This is right before Bob Dylan hits the scene. I don't want to jump ahead, but if you get to the ending of the movie and the guy that comes on and plays after Llewyn, that's basically Bob Dylan playing in the club that night.
Right. And that, I'm trying not to jump ahead, but when I see that scene, I'm like, dude, because like a lot of Coen characters, this dude is not going to be able. This is within a week of his life, and this dude just can't take a break. It seems like every time after he plays or introduces us to a song, something happens. He gets the shit beat out of him. He gets told that it's not going to do any good or make any money. Like, he plays for his dad, and his dad just wets himself. Like, so you just want, when we do get to Dylan, you're like, hang in there, dude. You're on the cusp of the explosion of the folk scene, and I like your stuff personally, which Oscar Isaac did play the guitar and sing. Come on, man. He is kind of a jerk, but you want to see him make it by the end of the movie. Like, he does become kind of a lovable jerk, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
No, that's fine. Yeah, if anyone doesn't know, because sometimes when you watch a movie with people singing and it's not always them, like case in point, "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" That's not George Clooney singing; he's lip syncing. But yeah, Oscar Isaac did his singing and played the guitar. He was a guitar player, sort of, and then like he got more lessons to prepare for this role, and we have musician Justin Timberlake's in the movie as well as a fellow friend and folk singer. So, of course, he does his own singing. I believe Carey Mulligan and Adam Driver both do their own singing in this film as well. And then, interesting fact about this movie, if you notice, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, it was Justin Timberlake and his companions. They play kind of the Peter, Paul, and Mary
Mm-hmm.
trio in this.
Oh,
Kind of the Puff the Magic
absolutely.
Dragon. So,
Well, I mean, and that's even, in the scene when he makes it to Chicago and F. Murray Abraham's character, who actually was a real music executive who produced acts like Peter, Paul, and Mary. What was his name? Bud Grossman. Basically,
yes.
that whole scene, he's basically like that's kind of like what he's suggesting him play, and when he's like, "You're not really a solo guy. You're more of a group guy." And that's kind of what it's like. Can you do
Right.
harmony? But
And
if you
that's
do,
another, like, this movie starts at the end and
uh-huh.
goes to the beginning and back around, if I'm not mistaken, to the end. And you find out
Yes, that
kind of halfway through the movie that he was in an act.
mm-hmm.
And he was in an act, and maybe doing solo is not his thing, you know. And like I said, he's homeless. He's having to go. It really is like starving musician uh, story. Like it's depressing. You want to see him do good, But he's homeless, and he's having to ask people to sleep on the sleep on the couch and stuff like that. And so I don't know. I don't know where it just kind of got off tangent. They just remembered at the end, and then it kind of comes around full circle again, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it does do a full circle, and yeah, the Coen brothers run this poor guy through the ringer. Like, yeah, he comes off a bit as a jerk, like you say, but like some of the stuff that happens to him, I kind of understand how he feels. Like when he goes to that couple's friends that let him stay in their apartment sometimes, and they're like, "Well, play us a song. Don't you want to play a song?" And he's like, "I'm not a trained monkey. This is what I do for a living." Like, I kind of understand that because there are people when they know you're good at something, they're like, do that thing you do, that thing you're good at. Like, show us what you can do. And
That,
people do that to people.
that's kind of like going into the. I kid you not. I went to the dollar store in Douglas, and I deliver in Douglas as well as Alto. And the girl behind the counter was like, "Oh man, I have something shipped. Do you know if I'm going to get it tomorrow?" And I'm like, I, I don't know. I mean, I just carry it, lady. I'm like, I don't, I don't magically track packages. I don't know. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah. But this movie's very relatable to anyone who's tried to make a living in the arts, not just as a musician, but as an actor or an artist or a writer, anybody that's like trying to put art out there and make money at it. This movie is going to be very relatable to you.
Right.
Like, you're gonna be like, "Oh man, yeah, I remember like not having 2 cents to my pocket and hoping I could stay the night somewhere at a friend's home to stay warm, or I had to
Mm-hmm.
hitch a ride with people to get from one gig to the next." Like, yeah, like it's a struggle, and it's like, what is the point sometimes? Like, I'm out here like pouring my soul, and like nobody cares. They're telling me I'm not good. And like I I kind of feel bad for him because, yeah, he cheated. He slept with Carey Mulligan and he's friends with Justin Timberlake, but Carey Mulligan's just as guilty as Oscar Isaac, as Llewyn is in that
Yeah.
situation. And she's like treating him like crap, but I mean, it's partly because she feels guilty too, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, poor guy. Like, but I mean, like it's just through the ringer. But speaking of Carey Mulligan, I'm sure most people will recognize who is singing a lot of the music in this, and he helped T-Bone Burnett with the music. Of course, if you guys don't know who T-Bone Burnett is, he's a legendary music producer. He did the soundtrack for "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" with the Coens, and he also picked the soundtrack out for The Big Lebowski. Marcus Mumford from Mumford and Sons is the guy doing a lot of the singing, and he's also the voice of you sort of were starting to bring this up, but Llewyn's partner who killed himself, his act he was in, his duo. That's
right. Okay.
But that is
yeah.
that is Carey Mulligan's husband, apparently, because they were both pen pals as children. They're both, citizens of the United Kingdom, and they, I guess, reconnected while making this movie and got married.
That's cool. Pretty sweet.
Yeah. But
they were pen pals.
Yeah, Llewyn is loosely based off a real folk singer, David Van Ronk. I might be saying that wrong.
I am not familiar.
I'm not familiar with the person either, but that's kind of who he's supposed to be. Sort of.
Okay.
Apparently they had hell with the cat.
Oh man. Yeah, that's another where he like loses the cat, and then that's a whole nother subplot where this cat, he loses the cat, finds another one, carries it to Chicago with him, loses that cat, comes back, and the original cat's back. And I'm like, holy shit.
That's one of the funniest scenes though, when he thinks it's the cat. Of course the cat got out, right? And then a different cat comes into their apartment that he's staying at, and he brings it back, and she's like, "This isn't our cat. Where's its scrotum?"
Wow. Oh man.
But apparently they had a hard time getting the cat to do what they needed it to do in the movie, and the animal trainer even told him, "Is like, look, you can't train a cat to do what you want it to do on screen. It's going to do what it wants. It's a cat." Yeah. And they're like, yeah, the cat was a nightmare to work with.
Oh, a bit. But yeah, it felt but it didn't feel like a Coen movie.
So how did it not feel like a Coen Brothers movie to you?
Cinematography was, and I loved it. Maybe it's because it looked different. They were trying to get what's his name back, but they couldn't get him.
Yeah, they couldn't get Roger Deakins because he was busy making Skyfall. Yeah. So that might be what you're thinking. And they got a different cinematographer, Bruno. What is his name? If Robbie was here, he would have told me. And he's actually shot a couple of more of their movies since then.
Okay. I don't know if it was that or the content, or I don't know. It felt off a little bit.
Bruno,
It felt
I don't
off.
Del Bonali. I know he also shot The Tragedy of Macbeth for them. Yeah, that's it. He's only
Didn't
shot.
he just pass away?
Oh, you're thinking of the composer for Twin Peaks, Angelo.
Oh, okay.
That's who you're thinking of. But yeah, I mean, here's one thing where it's a little different from a lot of Coen Brothers movies is I'm not sure if, because usually the rules of karma play into the plot of a Coen Brothers movie. I'm not sure if Llewyn deserves any of the things that are happening to him, or it's just pure bad luck for him. Like,
Right.
I don't think he does anything intentionally to harm anyone.
Yeah, he does. Poor guy. He's like Jeffrey in a way, because think about it. His character, as oblivious as he was to everything kind of going on around him, and he was trying to figure it out. He got run through the ringer too. He got uh, punched several times. These are two different movies, but it does seem like they put their character. They like to put their character like through the whole movie. Like something's going to happen, whether it be in beat up somewhere or verbally abused or told, it's just all these horrible things.
Mm-hmm.
Overshadows him being a jerk. Like maybe he's just jaded and that's why he comes off as a jerk. Maybe he is a lovable person. Maybe he is a good person and he's been put through so much crap that he just, sometimes you can't help it. Sometimes, as much as you want to be nice to people, sometimes you just come across as a jerk because you're tired or you've had it and things aren't going your way. And I'm not, you shouldn't never be a jerk to everyone, but it happens. So I get it. So That is a good question. Was it everything that was happening to him is the reason why he came off as he did, or is he just like that? So
I think it's a combination because he does lose it when that lady is singing his dead partner Mike's parts. Like he does kind of get touchy there too.
Yeah. Right.
And like you would lose it too if you were stuck in a car with that John Goodman's character and he keeps just criticizing and being cruel and belittling everything. Like you're gonna be like, you know what, buddy?
Right. Yeah. It was probably a combination. Just a combination of things. Being where you're at.
Yep.
He's a starving artist. People are telling him he's good. He's getting beat up in alleyways after pouring his heart out into his folk song. And
he did badmouth that poor lady who had nothing to do with why he was upset.
That's true.
But he had just found out that obnoxious club owner admitted that he slept with Carey Mulligan's character, and he's like, yeah, that's how all the ladies get to play here or something.
Right.
It was nice to see John Goodman in this movie. I think he's the only Coen regular in the movie.
Yeah, I think you're right. When he I was kind of surprised when he popped up because I hadn't seen anyone else. I didn't see Buscemi and some of the other regulars that you'll see in their movies, and I was like, this is interesting. This is all new cast, and then here's John Goodman. So I was like, okay, they had to.
Yeah, and apparently F. Murray Abraham, when he read the script, he's like, well, that's the role I want. And they're like, sorry, that's John's role. And he's like, oh, well, yeah, of course it is.
Right.
But Bud Grossman, who is a real music executive, apparently managed Bob Dylan, Peter, Paul, and Mary, which we allude to both of these artists in the movie, and Janis Joplin.
Oh yeah, yeah. I do love me some Joplin.
According to IMDb trivia, this movie is not only is it related to Oh Brother Where Art Thou because of it being sort of a musical and sort of T-Bone Burnett again doing the music, but apparently they're saying this is kind of loosely connected to the Odyssey as well. I'm not, it's a little bit stretching to me. It's not as obvious, but I guess he does kind of go on a wandering journey and meets eccentric characters.
Yeah, I kind of took it as just a like. Is it just me, or is it okay? I'm trying to I'm trying to put this into words. Like, and I either read this or heard this. Is the inside part of Llewyn Davis is him being a jerk? Like,
Oh,
the inside, what's coming out of him, like him being a jerk, is the inside of Llewyn Davis, and he steps out. That's while he's in New York, and he steps out of that and goes on a road trip, and then he comes back, and that's representing him stepping back into Llewyn. I don't know, and I could be skewing that, and I apologize, but it was some kind of psychological analysis uh of like the meanings and stuff, and I found it pretty interesting, and it's been quite a while since I've actually heard it, but
oh, that's an interesting theory. And also, it is the title of his debut album, like his album.
right, right. So I don't know. It was something to the effect of that. Like, there was some sort of, or maybe it's him bearing himself, like bearing all when he plays his music. That's what's inside. I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of what I heard, and I'm trying to remember where I saw it or read it, so that way I can go back and make sense of this, because I have a feeling that I may have botched it. But
That's an interesting theory, but yes, Oscar Isaac, Timberlake, Mulligan, and Adam Driver all performed this music live while they were filming.
that's incredible. That's cool stuff. I like that. I like when they go the extra mile and try to do it. Not every actor and actress can do that. We're watching George and Tammy.
Oh, is it good? I haven't watched it yet. I was like, is Jessica Chastain just gonna play all the famous Tammys?
Right. Well, they both sing in this.
Michael Shannon sings? Oh my god, I didn't know the man could sing.
Yeah, Michael Shannon sings. He doesn't look like the possum. He doesn't look like George Jones, but he's getting the crazy down, because George Jones was crazy. And
do you know who oddly did look like George Jones when his hair was really short?
Who's that?
With a buzz cut? Jim Carrey.
Oh, you know what? He did kind of.
When he has like the buzz cut from Me, Myself, and Irene. If you look at like really young George Jones.
Now I can't unsee that. But yeah, they're getting the dysfunction down. Like, it's been pretty good. And if you watch the episode from Tales from the Tour Bus about George Jones, and you'll get a lot of it. Because this man, I mean, he was either drunk or coked out most of the time, and he had like multiple personalities. He had a Donald Duck voice that he would talk in. No, really, he was out there. He took he had a was it I can't remember if it was an Uzi or a Tommy gun, and was coked out and been up for days and like took it and just shot up his office, and it was insane. I really hope that they go into all that in the show because it'll be wild.
Well, I assume it'll cover just their marriage, right?
Yeah, and this is all while they were married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, married and going back and forth. So I'm gonna say this. In the show, they bring Tammy in to his hotel room for like this meeting to see if they want to like if George wants to bring her on the road, you know. And the first day he sits up in bed and like takes a drink, and she's talking to him or something, and he goes, "I haven't shit in 3 days." And I'm like, oh my God. His first words, Tammy Wynette, or "I haven't shit in 3 days." Glorious, glorious stuff. Very dysfunctional. You'd probably get a kick out of it. I recommend it. So.
All right. Speaking of that, apparently Jim and Gene, the Justin Timberlake, Carey Mulligan characters, were an actual real folk music duo in real life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
And apparently Oscar Isaac hates cats because he got an infection from a cat bite when he was younger.
Oh, no.
So more drama with the cat.
Right. It's okay. I hate cats too.
Aw. He's so cute though, that little tabby.
Yeah. I mean, I don't guess I hate him. I just don't want to be around him. I'll just put it to you that way. But I'm around cats. That's the kicker.
But I thought I heard one earlier.
Oh yeah, it's here.
So, do you want to know some of the people who auditioned for this movie? And I can't see any of these guys in the role other than Oscar Isaac.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Casey Affleck,
Ooh.
Michael Fassbender, and Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, I can't see him at all in this.
No.
He would have been too schmarmy.
Yeah, like, I don't know if he can do serious movies. I don't think I've ever seen him in a serious movie.
I think he's done some serious work, but I don't know. I feel like he's got a different kind of charm, and I'm not exactly, I don't find it appealing.
Yeah. It's okay. Like, I'm not comparing him personally to Chevy Chase. It's the kind of, he's good at being a smartass.
Mm-hmm.
You can be a smartass and be charming, or you can be a smartass and just be a smartass. You know, like off-putting. And he can be a smartass to your face, probably make fun of you, but it's so charming that, you know, you'll buy it, you'll eat into it.
Mm-hmm. Whereas I think I do find usually Oscar Isaac charming in film.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite role of his.
I would agree because he's still doing a good job, and you find him likable even though he's kind of, like you said, a dick, but we kind of get why he's kind of being a dick, because I think you're right. I think it's a lot of circumstances, and other people are not like, you know, Gene, we talked about Carey Mulligan, how she treats him, but also his sister is not exactly like the most loving and warming person to him, you know?
Right.
So, you know, and the whole John Goodman experience, like he's it's not like he's being mean and other people. Now, he is kind of a little mean to his manager, who does, out of the kindness, say, well, here, have my coat if you don't have a coat. And then, you know, says something mean, and the manager's like, well, F you then. You can't have my coat.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Well, again, I I kind of hope people watch this and it does turn them on to folk music. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but being a fan of rock, I mean, I dabble in a little bit of everything. Okay, musically, I like classical, I like electronica, I like some older country. Not a huge fan of newer country, but hey, there's some of it out there that's decent. Rock is mainly my thing, but when you really appreciate rock, you got to go back and you got to appreciate the blues. When you appreciate the blues, you got to appreciate some Americana music. You got to appreciate folk, because a lot of stuff stemmed from that, and it just sounds good. I like a soothing acoustic, folk song. But I hope it turns people on to folk music or some of the stuff that's out there, and because I'm sure a lot of people have heard of it and they're like, oh, Puff the Magic Dragon. It's not all Puff the Magic Dragon. There's so much other stuff out there. It's not all Bob Dylan. Okay. I happen to like Dylan. Not a lot of people do because of his voice, but I like Dylan. I like early Dylan.
I can get the Dylan voice, but name a song you like, and there's a pretty strong chance it was written by Bob Dylan. And if it wasn't written by Bob Dylan, it was probably written by Willie Nelson.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And then if it wasn't written by those two guys, then it was probably written by Prince. Like there's between those three people, I'm gonna say 75% of popular music was written by them.
Yeah. Dolly Parton, even.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a lot of people just didn't know that Carrie Fisher was a script doctor.
Right.
Late 80s through the 90s and stuff, on top of doing her other whatever else she did and her issues and all that. But she was a script doctor and doctored up a lot of movies. You'd be surprised, So it's kind of like that. You never know. You never know who's working on stuff.
So would you agree with the Coen Brothers that the music in this film is a natural, it's kind of a direct descendant to the music in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, because bluegrass is kind of folksy too.
It is. Look, that all stems. It's a family tree. And it all connects to each other. So when you think of folk music, again, when I think folk music, I think of blues music. I think of bluegrass. I think of old-time country music, country western even can stem into that. So yeah, it's definitely all connected. If you like one, more than likely you'll like the other, or I hope you do, because there's just so much more out there that you should check out. But yeah, it definitely all connects. It's one big family tree, and then on up towards the top of that is where your rock music comes in. You got your classic rock, and then that's going to stem out and go to all your metal and hard rock and so on. I'm having brain farts, guys, but you know where I'm going with this. So yeah, I can see it definitely being connected to Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah, sadly this movie didn't do as well financially or catch on with the mainstream appeal that Oh Brother, Where Art Thou did. But I urge anyone that likes music to give this a watch. And if you like the Coen Brothers, why haven't you watched this yet? Because
and according to the Coen Brothers, this is a musical. It's a Coen Brothers musical along with Oh Brother and Hail Caesar. And was that it?
I mean, there's a little bit of music in Buster Scruggs.
Buster Scruggs. Yeah, all of those are considered musicals by them because their characters will either randomly break out into song, or they're, again, Hail Caesar, they're in Hollywood filming musicals, and Llewyn Davis, he's folk singer, and you hear songs in it. So
Yeah, I love this movie, and I love it more like most Coen Brothers. It grows with each watch, like each time I watch it.
yeah, I have seen it once. I've watched it the once, and that's just I just fell in love with it immediately.
Okay, well, I've seen it 3 times now.
I
Um,
I'm gonna watch it again. Like that's how good it is, and I think you're right. I think with each watch, it will get better than what I already think it is because I'll pick up on more and I'll, you know, it'll sink in. It's kind of like the Big Lebowski. The first watch was like, okay, it's funny. I don't exactly know what all was going on. Like, I mean, some of it went over my head a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I just missed stuff, but I thought it was funny. There were funny parts. And then the second watch, you're like, oh, okay. All right. I get that now. The third watch, you're like, oh my God, everything clicks and makes sense now. And this is like one of the funniest movies ever made, you know. And by the fourth watch, you're going full on dude into that territory, you know. You're like, you're like, man, I need to start looking for a rug that really ties the room together. And you're next thing you know, you're quoting it, and you know,
drinking white Russians, yeah.
So I went down that rabbit hole, people.
All right. Well, I hear Lindsay, so I'd like before we do the impossible task here, I'd like to know some of Lindsay's thoughts on this movie, if she has any.
Oh, well, she she just left. Hang on.
She's like, "Oh, I'm out."
Well, she was on her way out. Yeah, hang on.
Oh, okay.
She's been back and forth. You hang on.
So, in a minute, if we have nobody's watching right now, which is fine, you can watch later. In a minute, if we don't have anything else to discuss about Inside Llewyn Davis, we are going to decide the 10 films we want to put into the Coen Brothers Hall of Fame. It's going to be hard because I feel like there's at least 13 worthy films to put in here. But while we're waiting on Chris and Lindsay,
Okay.
Oh, you guys are back.
No, it's just me. She said that she. Hang on, my. Okay, all right. Sorry, my doggy was not happy with me over something. Probably because I'm not sharing any food. But
how dare you?
Exactly. Okay. She said that she liked it.
Mm-hmm.
She said that she would have to watch it some more to pick up on it, but she enjoyed the music. And yeah, that was about it. So I'll have to ask her where she thinks it is on the rank scale. Like, okay. I don't know if she liked it as much as I did because I'm a huge, music buff. I mean, I'm not saying she isn't, but I probably listen to more folk music than she does. Maybe, I don't know. I'll ask her and we'll see.
But yeah, I love the music. I think it's a great soundtrack. And not just the one they play or the song he sings in the beginning. I even find the Please Mr. Kennedy, that's kind of catchy.
Yeah, yeah. And if you'll notice, his songs too, at the beginning and the end, I think the two songs, or is it the same song that he's playing?
It's the same song.
Okay, and it's talking about death.
Mm-hmm.
And I just found that interesting that it opened with that song and it ended, with that song that he's singing about death. And it is, I think it just sets it as just depressing. I mean, that kind of, he opens with that song and it kind of sets the tone. It's winter. Everything's kind of dark and grim looking and depressing. And I think it just goes it just plays into what he's going through and makes it seem even worse, like even more depressing. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like everything's so dreary and, ugh, you know. So
Yeah. Yeah, but it's so well done. The acting, the directing, the music,
oh, of course, yeah.
everything. It's just something I love, and so is there anything else you want to talk about before we do the impossible task?
No, I think we covered it really well. I do, like Cody said, if you enjoy music, if you're not familiar with like folk music and stuff, then I highly recommend this. Hopefully, it turns your ear onto it, and you explore and um, uh, explore something new. I guess, you know, not if you don't like the music, hopefully you like the movie, because it's a really well made film. The acting is really well done. The story is good. Um, yeah, I think it's great. I think you need to check it out.
Okay, then. So, because they only have 19 films, and instead of us going through and just ranking our individual lists, I thought, why don't we do these directors? We build a Hall of Fame, but we can only put 10 films in.
Ah,
So the first question to me is does Inside Llewyn Davis go in, or do we want to kind of just pencil that for right now and kind of see what other worthy titles we need to put in here?
well, I will tell you this, that will probably be in my top 10.
Oh, it's in my top 10, but do we want to go ahead and put it in the Hall of Fame, or do we feel like maybe something else should get represented because this and Oh Brother are kind of the same coin, and maybe we should only put one of them in?
Uh, I don't know, man. That's kind of a hard one to.
Do you want to pencil it for right now?
Yeah, let's pencil it.
Okay, so I think there are two that we have to absolutely put in here, and we can't do it without putting them in here.
Which ones would you?
I think we have to put Fargo and No Country for Old Men on this list.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And not just because those are their awards movies. I mean, Fargo is, I think, the culmination of everything that their style represents.
Oh, for sure. And me personally, I would put Lebowski in there
Oh,
because
I was saying, I know we got to put the Lebowski in there, not just because it's probably your personal favorite, but just because of the huge cult following this movie has. I think, yeah,
well,
the
it
Lebowski.
started an entire religion, which I am a Judaist priest, by the way, ordained. I can do weddings. I have done a wedding, so if anyone needs a ordained Judaist minister, you know, I'm here for you guys.
Okay, so I am perfectly fine with Fargo, Big Lebowski, and No Country for Old Men coming in. I know a lot of people, some people, not a lot, but there are people out there who are like, oh, No Country for Old Men's not that good. There Will Be Blood should have won Best Picture. I'm like, it's still just a masterfully made film, and it's the movie that was like, yeah, and it wasn't like a give me Oscar, right? They deserved it. It wasn't like, okay, here's your Oscar because you've been making great movies for decades.
Right.
Like it really did deserve it. I think No Country for Old Men is a masterpiece, honestly.
Oh, for sure. That movie, we watched it here before our last review, and that movie still is just makes me just as tense watching it than it did the first time I ever watched it, because some of those scenes are just so suspenseful, and I know what's going to happen because I've seen it before, but it's just so captivating and well done that you still feel, you get that feeling of just gut wrench, you know, with some of those scenes. But I would
Okay,
also, I'd argue that Oh Brother might be up there in my.
Well, yeah, we could definitely say Oh Brother is definitely a worthy title, not just because it's so well made, but also because it's probably their biggest maybe not their most financially successful film, but it's definitely their biggest mainstream hit, in my opinion, because almost anybody I know, if I talk to them, they'd be like, oh yeah, I like that movie. Like that's the one that most people would be like, I like that. Even people that don't like Coen Brothers movies tend to
Yeah,
like that one.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we'll put Oh Brother in there. So we have 4. So I think instead of arguing what needs to be in there, let's go ahead and take out the ones we think don't need to be in there.
Okay.
So
Oh, okay. I have one more.
okay, you're putting 5 in. Okay, what is your 5th slot?
True Grit.
Okay.
True Grit
Okay.
was a freaking masterpiece of a Western. Better than the original. Holy crap, that movie is so good. That movie is just top notch, modern day Western in my eyes. And that's why it should be in there.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think this is wonderful. It's definitely better than the original. Sorry, baby boomers, don't come at me. I'm sorry. I like this movie better. Not just because it's a better adaptation of the novel, but I just like the performances better. I like the story better.
The way they write dialogue totally took this movie up several notches. It's not just the scenery and the way they filmed it and the actor. I mean, the actors too, top notch.
Yeah.
But it's the dialogue that they gave them. It's that quick, witty, old, use of old dialogue that they gave them that just makes this movie so much better.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got half of the Hall of Fame done now. So let's kind of take some out so it won't be as hard. So I think the obvious two that we can immediately take out of consideration is The Lady Killers and Intolerable Cruelty. I think those are their two weakest films. And I think part of that is because both of those productions, they came on after those scripts were already written and they just kind of put their touches on it. But I don't think either of those films completely work.
Right.
So I think those two are safe. We can say don't belong in the Hall of Fame.
Right. I would go ahead and throw I would throw Hudsucker in there and The Man Who Wasn't There. Although I'd really liked The Man Who Wasn't There.
Are you saying to put in or to take out?
To take out.
Okay, I wasn't sure how you leaned on Hudsucker because I like Hudsucker a lot, but I'm okay with it not being in the top 10.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a very strong number 11 or number 12 for me.
Right.
And I mean, it's just kind of hard because they've made so many great movies. And the same thing with The Man Who Wasn't There. But the thing I was going to say is I think the reason why I would edge The Man Who Wasn't There out is because their first film, Blood Simple, is of a similar genre. And I think that movie is a bigger impact, not just in the film world as being one of the best debut films, but for them as directors. Like, I think that's a slightly more accomplished film and has a bigger impact on their filmography.
Right.
Not that The Man Who Wasn't There is a bad movie. It's masterfully well made. It's just these are guys who mostly make great movies. So
yeah, I would also take out Burn After Reading.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Burn After Reading even though I really enjoy it, I think it's kind of just a self-parody of themselves. So I don't think it's quite worthy of that top 10 Hall of Fame status.
I'd take out Hail Caesar and A Serious Man.
Okay, so A Serious Man, I was like, I'm not sure how I feel about that one because I feel like it's at some points it's the ultimate Coen Brothers movie, but it's kind of one I don't get a lot of rewatchability on. Not that it's not a bad movie. I think it's actually a really well-made movie. And I know some people that's their favorite Coen Brothers movie, but okay.
I like it.
I think you're kind of aligning with my personal top 10 here.
No, man.
So
I'd take Hail Caesar out.
Yeah, I like Hail Caesar, but that is one of their weaker movies, in my opinion.
Right. We took out Lady Killers, right?
Yes. I'm going to say we take out Tragedy of Macbeth, not because it's not directed by both Joel and Ethan, but because it's basically Joel Coen. He's just straight up adapting Macbeth for the most part. Not that that's bad. It's actually really good. I just don't think it needs to be in the Hall of Fame because it's like, okay, you did a really good adaptation of a very famous play. Yeah, it has similar themes to a lot of your movies, and you got to put Denzel Washington and Frances McDormand on screen together, and it's pretty good.
Right. Now Barton Fink would probably go into my top 10.
I think Barton Fink absolutely needs to go in because I think it's one of their all-time greats, and it's also they won the Cannes Film Festival, so that's another big kind of turning point in their career with that film.
Right.
So I think it deserves to be in. So I'm seeing
I absolutely love Raising Arizona, and I would probably put that in the top 10 as well.
Oh, me as well. I think that is some of the most kinetic camera energy, and I just love that movie. Like, it's like a cartoon come to life, and I don't know, Holly Hunter is amazing, and especially at that point in her career, that's like peak Holly Hunter.
Yeah, turn to the right.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we're on the track, but here's the one I think we might
Is it Miller's Crossing?
No, I have an argument for Miller's Crossing, but the one I was gonna say maybe we don't put in, and you might really love this movie, so if you want to put it in, I'm fine with it, but we can see just what the remaining titles are. So I would say maybe The Ballad of Buster Scruggs doesn't get in.
As much as I love that anthology, I don't think it was their best. Like, I don't know. It's good, but rewatchability is probably not the strongest for me.
So the issue with anthology films usually is some bits are better than others. So I really like the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. I think that one's great. I think even the James Franco one's pretty funny.
Right.
The Liam Neeson segment's pretty rough.
That's dark, and I enjoyed that one, but just because of the end of it, where it just left off, and I'm like, what?
The Tom Waits one's kind of zany, but not a lot happens in that one.
Right.
I really find the Wagon Trail one really sweet and touching.
Oh yeah, isn't that where she dies? Yeah.
And then it's the final one where they're all basically death's taking them,
Right.
Yeah, which is fun, but I just don't think with this filmography, I think that's a really well-made fun movie, but I think when you have all these other films,
mm-hmm.
I just don't think it deserves. So let's read off what we have so far. We have Raising Arizona, we have Barton Fink, we have Fargo, we have The Big Lebowski, We have Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? We have No Country for Old Men, and we have True Grit. So that's 7 films. So what we have left is Blood Simple, Miller's Crossing, and I think Inside Llewyn Davis. I think we've eliminated everything. So I think those are the 3 left.
I would put Inside Llewyn Davis in there because even though it probably didn't do well and it may not be everyone's favorite, I think it's still impactful, like because of the music setting and they're on the cusp of the folk music scene and the story set around it. I don't know. I just really enjoyed it.
I think. Are you good with these 3 being in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, Inside, and then Blood Simple for sure. I think Blood Simple should.
I do too. I think it's just too big of an important film.
Right. And then what was the other one? Miller's Crossing?
Miller's Crossing.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that's their favorite Coen Brothers movie.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I think that's a good list.
There's a lot that are. So the 3 that I was going to kind of see where you were feeling was Hudsucker, A Man Who Wasn't There, and A Serious Man. And it looks like you were kind of in agreement with me. Those are, I don't know, maybe A Serious Man is a little bit lower for you, but those are the 3 that I felt like were on the cusp.
Yeah, those should be like close. Those should be like 11, 12, 13.
Yeah.
They would follow in that order, I think.
And then I think I go Ballad of Buster Scruggs, Burn After Reading, and then Macbeth, Hell Caesar, and then Intolerable Cruelty, Lady Killers at the bottom.
Yeah, I could see that.
All right, so the Video Store Rejects have declared that the Coen Brothers Hall of Fame is Blood Simple, Raising Arizona, Miller's Crossing, Barton Fink, Fargo, The Big Lebowski, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, No Country for Old Men, True Grit, and Inside Llewyn Davis. Not marked 1 to 10, just those are the 10 movies in chronological order of release.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that is my personal top 10, not in that order, but those are the 10 films I would put in my top 10.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good list. I would go with that. It sounds really good.
Okay. All right, we did it. We have covered the Coen Brothers. All you Man Who Wasn't There, Hudsucker Proxy, and Serious Man stands. Apologies. If they had a larger filmography, I would do like a second tier list. Like if we ever do Spielberg, I'm going to be like, okay, here are the 10 that are in the Hall of Fame, and here's like the B side, other 10.
Oh, speaking of Spielberg, The Fabelmans was fantastic, guys. If you get a
Wasn't
chance,
it? Yeah, it's absolutely a beautiful movie. Apparently people don't want to see that in the theaters. It's fine. But
I really wish I could have seen that like in a theater, but it was just as good at home. And yes, please watch it. Like if you're a fan of Spielberg, or watch the Spielberg documentary first,
and then go watch The Fabelmans.
A lot of it will make sense.
Yep. And if you are a fan of cinema, like you are just a movie fan, you have to see this movie, because this movie tells us not just how great movies are, but like how much of an impact they make on us, like in our lives. Like they're not just pieces of cheap entertainment all the time.
Right.
Like there's meaning in them. And I think this is one of Spielberg's best. And if he ends up winning another Oscar, it's deserved. I don't know if he is, but it's deserved. But
Well,
yes.
sure, because I saw a lot of comments that were like, "Oh, he's so conceited. We don't need a story about his life or about him. You know, his head's really big. He has nothing left to do now, and now he's going to make a story about him." Shut up, because this had to be therapy for him, and it probably was.
Well, and he also had to wait till his parents, because his dad just passed in 2020.
Right.
And he was over 100.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, Steven Spielberg's turning 76 this year.
Oh, that's true. He's 6 years older than my dad.
And also, if you get a chance to see this movie, go see it in the theaters. You don't know how many more Steven Spielberg movies we're going to get. So,
yeah, for sure.
So go see it if you can. If not, it's on VOD right now. It is well worth the $20 purchase. And if you do follow internet rumors or listen to newscasting, yes, that one role is true, and it is fucking fantastic at the end of the movie. Like, it was great.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of which, in March, I am so excited. Criterion announced they are putting out a Blu-ray of Inland Empire, which is, I guess, his last feature film he did. If you don't count Twin Peaks: The Return is a new movie for David Lynch. Wow. And that's awesome because Inland Empire is like nowhere to available online.
Wow.
So physical media is important, people.
Oh, for sure. You can't. It's so important. I know you can't go out. A lot of people can't go out and buy everything, but when you do, you get so much more. You get those special features, which I'm a special features junkie. Okay. When I pick up a physical media, not only am I excited for the movie, but I'm more excited about the documentaries and the commentary that comes with that, because it's just extra. It's just more for me to consume about said movie. So, yeah.
Yes, and not only that, you get a nice little collection you can show off to people. Like, you're building your own library, and then it's yours forever.
Right.
And you don't have to rely on a streaming service being able to keep it, because streaming services take movies off the time. I mean, HBO Max is just practically taking things off to never be seen or heard of again.
Right.
And
cough, Dogma.
And
that's one you can't get anywhere. And so you have
right, that's right. There's a podcast that I forget how they had to rewatch it because it's not online anywhere. I have a DVD of it still.
Yeah, that's what I kept all my Kevin Smith. Before Hastings closed, I went through this was back when I was at the comic book shop, I think. I got on a Kevin Smith kick, and I went and bought up all the special edition DVDs I could find, like the 2-disc of like Mallrats, and I got the 10th anniversary 3-disc version of Clerks that has the original black and white on it, with no music, and the original ending where Dante is shot. And then it comes with of course, the theatrical, and then like shit tons of documentaries, which is awesome. But Dogma was one of those. I got the 2-disc for Dogma, Clerks 2, and some of his, like An Evening with Kevin Smith. Some of those are really hard to find now. I got a 3-evening with Kevin Smith, and there was another one. But Silent but Deadly, I know that one's kind of hard to find now. But anyway, yeah.
Physical media is important, people, children, and I watched my wonderful Criterion disc of Inside Llewyn Davis for this episode, and I'm glad that, Chris, you got to be on for the final episode of this series, and that I didn't get to stroke my own ego, even though we kind of were in agreement of what the top Hall of Fame film should have been.
Right. Yeah, that was weird. And we didn't plan that, people. We just, great minds think alike.
Yep. We're wrapping up we just wrapped up the Coens. Not sure when they'll be back again because, they're not making movies together anymore for the present. Joel made Tragedy of Macbeth on his own. And now Ethan supposedly is making a movie, even though he said he wanted to do theater. So we'll see. I mean, they don't really need to make any more movies if they don't want to, because, I mean, they got an amazing body of work. But I would be interested to see what they do next. But next week, we're wrapping up Ridley Scott with House of Gucci. So we're killing 2 of these series.
All right. That's one I have not seen that. So, and
then we're going to get all felty for 2023, guys. We're going to be talking Jim Henson and Frank Oz. And we're also going to do the 2 Brian Henson Muppet movies. We are not doing the Happy Time Murders or whatever it was called, the other movie he directed. The reason I included those is because our guests, Sean and Dan, bravely chose Exodus, Gods and Kings to talk about. So I said, you guys get to pick whatever you want to talk about for the next series if you want. And they wanted Muppet Christmas Carol. So I was like, yeah, you know what? You get it. I'm sorry.
Nice.
So we'll be adding those 2 films onto that series. We already briefly have dipped our toes in with Ron Howard with The Grinch and Willow. So we'll also be exploring that filmography because he had a new movie that came out this year, guys. If you don't remember, it's on Amazon right now, 13 Lives. So
yeah, I have not seen that one yet.
So look forward to those 2 series in the new year. And then are we doing Gremlins and Krampus Sunday? Is that when we're doing it?
Yes, I had to postpone yesterday, take care of some stuff, but I think everyone agreed on Sunday. So yeah, that's when we're going to try to do it. But they were watched. Krampus was fantastically funny, and Gremlins is a classic always. So yeah, we'll be ready to talk about those.
All right, and then I guess we can do one more Christmas episode before Christmas gets here.
Yeah, that's so weird. I'm not ready for Christmas to be over, man. It's gone by really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to soak it in a little bit.
And then you want to delve into the Marvel Universe for 2023, which will probably take us maybe more than all year.
Yeah. I figured we could cover the movies. And when I say I don't know. We'll talk about how we want to do that, because I know I said when we covered Captain America, we might just go through and cover all 3 movies at once. I don't know yet. It depends, because I'd like to watch them in order too. So,
well, do you want to watch them in order of release or the timeline?
I was thinking timeline.
Okay.
We
can do that,
because we normally we would do release, but I have been wanting to do timeline.
Okay, and then I think Nick wants to, when I guess we get to Spider-Man, I think he wants to do the Raimi Spider-Man. So I guess we could sidetrack it. Well, I guess technically it's all MCU now, right?
Yeah. That's, I mean, if there's something that pops up, we could do the Blade. I would definitely like to cover Blade at some point. I know that's not. It's still it's a multiverse, so it's not in the timeline that we'll be covering. But I think Blade should have a mention, like an honorable.
Well, I would love to also talk about Ang Lee's Hulk when we get to the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, of course, yeah. That definitely needs a mention as well, because I enjoy the Ang Lee Hulk.
But other than that, I'm okay if we don't cover everything else in the Marvel.
Yeah. We won't be able to do every single thing, but and that's, I don't know, something might come up between now and the new year. Like, Marvel's sounding great right now, but who knows? We might come up with something else.
Well, I don't know how you feel about Phase 4, Chris, but I heard a great sum up of Phase 4, because I've been hearing a lot of people like, well, it kind of petered out after Endgame. And look, I know some of the Phase 4 movies aren't perfect, but neither 1, 2, and 3 movies. But I think we've got to the point with these movies where they're like actually reading comic books. And so you are either in or you're not. And sometimes they get a little kooky and crazy and really sweaty. So
Right. And now I'll defend Phase 4 because I think a reason why a lot of them did not do as well is because it came out. Some of them were released during pandemic.
yeah, and they like
And
they moved their releases around because Doctor Strange was supposed to come out before Spider-Man.
right. So I think that really, I think that's why it took a hit, and people weren't as pleased with them because they're used to going to a movie theater, or maybe it's the experience. I don't know. Maybe it was just people were pissed off for no reason and needed something to bitch about. Like,
I think also because there's not yet a cohesive build up to whatever the next thing is, because I guess that's the one thing you could say about the first 3 phases. It was all leading up to Thanos.
right. Well, Kang, they're trying to fix that with Ant-Man because Kang the Conqueror. Well, they started it with Loki.
Yeah.
And Ant-Man is gonna, I think, kick off that whole phase with Kang, and Kang is gonna be the next big bad guy.
Yeah, they already announced that. I mean, that's the next 2 Avenger movies he's gonna be the baddie.
Right. But
so,
I guess because they had to set it up through a mini series, a lot of people may not have watched Loki, who are just feel kind of like lost, that are just like, what's going on? What's this?
Well,
but
I actually have kind of enjoyed some of these movies being a little more standalone.
Oh, I have too. Like I've enjoyed them. Like I enjoyed Shang-Chi.
I think Shang-Chi and Spider-Man are definitely the 2 easier ones for everyone to like, because those are the ones that are the least ones with basically what's the word I'm looking for? They're the least messy of the movies. But I think Wakanda Forever, I think they did an impossible job and did it incredibly well.
I'm excited to see that. That's another one that I missed, and I'm ready to see some Namor in action.
But I didn't hate Thor: Love and Thunder, even though it's definitely got warts. And I think once Doctor Strange gets to be a Sam Raimi movie, it's fun.
Yeah, I like Doctor Strange. I'm with you on Love and Thunder. Like I liked it, but it felt like a one-off comic book special. Like it felt kind of like it felt like a longer version of the Guardians Christmas special, if that makes sense.
Oh man, I am so ready. I had so much fun with that. I hope Volume 3 is just as good as the first 2.
Oh, it's going to be a gut wrench, I think.
And then I know Eternals is kind of a hard one to like because it's a lot of characters and it probably should have been a TV show, but I liked what it was trying to do.
Yeah, it was different. I liked it. It's probably not like I don't think it's up there with some of my just absolute favorites, but I enjoyed it. Like to me, it's just another Marvel movie. It's fun.
And I'd say they probably should have made Black Widow like a long time ago, but it's not horrible. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I think Black Widow should have been a miniseries.
Yeah, that would have been fine too. But I just think they should have made it like before Endgame.
Right.
But that's all I got. Thanks for being able to come on and do this. And we got the Hall of Fame built and one more series done.
Yeah, and I'm glad I was able to make it. Yeah, I've been missing the director series.
Well, I know you work tomorrow, but tomorrow morning I'll be discussing with Colin Smith Guillermo del Toro's most recent film because we did cover him last year. He has a new movie out. It's on Netflix right now, Pinocchio. We're going to be talking it.
Nice. Which another one I still need to watch. So I'm just behind.
Yeah, that's the one bad thing about this time of year is they release so many freaking movies at the end of the year.
I know it. I know.
And it's hard to see everything.
Right. I'm over here still trying to get my holiday movies in,
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, because you're like, okay, I gotta watch some of my Christmas movies, but yeah, I also want to watch some of this stuff so I can see all the new things too. Yeah.
Right. I was able to squeeze Fablemans, and we laid down to in the evening last night. We watched A Christmas Story, and then I'm gonna try to get A Christmas Story 2 and maybe tomorrow night, depending on how late I get in. But
right. Well, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go have dinner, and I might watch Die Hard.
Nice. We've watched Die Hard this season. I got First Blood in. Let's see. We got Die Hard 2 in.
Mm-hmm.
I started Bad Santa, but I had to stop it because my kids were not asleep, and I was like, "Yeah, they'll hear that." So, but yeah, I'm getting them, and I'm moving to some of the classics. Moving into some of the classics now. But
yeah, we've already done It's a Wonderful Life, and I did Batman Returns already. Muppets Christmas Carol. I watched some movies that some people would question are Christmas, but I watched them. Eyes Wide Shut and Catch Me If You Can. They actually take place at Christmas. Parts of Catch Me If You Can takes place at Christmas.
Right. That's a good movie too.
What else have we watched? I watched some new movie with Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds. That's a Christmas movie.
Oh yeah, Lindsay's been wanting to watch that.
She might like it. It's a musical.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. It's basically a retelling of Scrooge in a way. I can't think of what else Krampus, Long Kiss Goodnight, but I haven't gotten any other Shane Blacks in.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get Lethal Weapon in, but
we already watched Nightmare Before Christmas for Halloween, so that one's covered. So, yeah. So I don't know. Some of these we might save till actual Christmas or closer to Christmas.
Right.
But you have a good night, and I probably won't see you Sunday because I'm taking my mother-in-law who wants to see Avatar: Way of the Water. And we're gonna see if this is all what it's about. James Cameron.
Nice. Hey, I want to see it too. You know what? I know it's not perfect.
Well, you know what? Apparently people are loving it, and he's gonna get more Oscar nominations. Like, I guess you can't bet against him.
Yeah. Ego aside, I thought the first one was a fun movie, even though it is Dances with Wolves in space on another planet. But I don't know. I think they're. Again, people, you've heard me say it. I'll say it again. They're popcorn movies. Just disconnect. Watch all the pretty colors and the explosions
and who does that better than James Cameron?
Right, exactly. So, disconnect your brain. Go with it. Have fun. I'm happy for you, Cody. I wish I could go see it, but probably wait.
Well,
maybe till after Christmas. Try to go see it.
Yeah. All right. Well, you have a good night, and sorry you got work tomorrow. Hope you have a good weekend. I know you probably got work Saturday too.
Yeah, next 2 days. I'm off Sunday. Hopefully Monday. We'll see.
Do you have to work Christmas Eve?
I have to work Christmas Eve,
but not Christmas Day.
not Christmas Day and the day after. So
Hey, you don't have to work Boxing Day.
right. I'd prefer Christmas Eve, but
Right.
hopefully it'll be a light mail day. We'll see. I'll be flying. Just stay out of the way, people. You see my van coming with the.
One year there was stuff we had ordered and it hadn't arrived, and it all arrived on Christmas Eve.
Wow.
Like, I can't remember how many packages came to my door that day.
Oh my gosh, dude, people. Okay, I'm in a small 3-carrier office, okay? And some of those packages are ridiculous. Like, today was a light day and I had 96 packages.
Dang.
Parcels. Yeah, we usually have over 100. I know I had to go split the route and help this girl out. She had like 196 packages that we had to split.
Jeez.
It's insane, people. It's like doing 2 jobs in one day. Like, every day in my head, I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. I think I'm gonna quit. And then and then I make it, and I'm like, okay, you made it, man. You made it. Just one more day of this. And I wake up and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. I think I'm gonna quit. So you gotta tell yourself you can make it and do all right. So, but if you see me coming, move to the side, stay out the way, because I'll be flying.
And if you're shopping, if you're not online shopping, if you're actually physically shopping, well, actually, if you're online shopping too, because that's what I do, is help people with their online shopping. Be kind to your retail workers. This is just a job. They're just trying to help you. Like, if they can't get you your deal or your discount, it's not their fault. So don't take it out on them. They don't represent the companies they work for.
Exactly.
And if you have an opportunity to give them a survey and you were happy with their service, give them the highest rating, because that's the only one that counts, apparently. Boom. As a positive survey. So,
and if you have a favorite mailman or a mail person, mail carrier, don't be afraid to stick treats, sealed treats, or chips, or even sealed soda or drink, energy drink. Don't be afraid to put those in the mailbox with a little note saying, "You are awesome. Thank you so much." So I can munch going down the road. That's like the best thing ever, people.
Be kind to your mailman. Well,
be kind to everybody.
If you want to yell at us for our Hall of Fame, you can leave comments. Just be nice. You can disagree with us, but just be nice about it. And everybody have a good weekend. And if you go see Avatar, go to the bathroom before you go into the movie theater.
It is set in water, people, and
it's over 3 hours.
Your bladder will be thankful. So.
Yeah.
All right, guys. See you later.
Bye.